After attempts by Redmi and Realme, it is now Infinix's turn to test their might in the PC market. So how well have they done with their maiden outing? Let's find out. Hello everyone, Aman here from Mr. Phone, and this is my full review of the Infinix INBook X1 in this beautiful Aurora green finish. But before we start, consider hitting that red subscribe button if you love watching detailed tech videos, and also turn on the bell so that you don't miss any of our latest videos. Let's get started. Now, before talking about the details about the Infinix INBook X1, let's first talk about a little about its competitors, that is the Redmi Book and the Realme Book Slim. So last year we first saw Redmi releasing a couple of Redmi books, which by the way currently starts at about 38,000 rupees in India. The thing with the Redmi Book e-learning edition that I reviewed was that while its price was good, the build quality and battery life were excellent. The display and the sound quality wasn't something that I was expecting, so I thought a slightly lower price would have been perfect. Fast forward, and then I tested the Realme Book Slim later in the year. Again, it had the looks, the display was amazing, a top-notch build, but then again, the sound output of the speakers and the battery life was kind of underwhelming. And this one, mind you, starts at about 47,000 rupees for the base i3 plus 256GB SSD variant. This brings me to the Infinix INBook X1, and with this machine, when we talk about the price to performance ratio, I think I have to hand it over to Infinix. First, just take a look at the variants and their prices. Although do keep in mind that these are indeed introductory offers and only time will tell when Infinix might just hike them. So the Infinix INBook X1 comes in a full metal body construction that feels sturdy. It feels solid, the two-tone looks on the outside looks classy. The hinge on this laptop goes 180 degrees flat, which means you can prop this laptop at various angles according to your liking. And the hinge mechanism, by the way, itself is solid, and I did not encounter any wobble while using the machine. Moving on, in terms of handling, the INBook X1 is only about 1.48 kilograms, which makes it quite portable to carry around in your backpack or a sling bag. But besides the aesthetics and the portability, this laptop is one heck of a practical machine. Just take a look at the ports and I/O. On the right, you get a micro SD card slot, a headphone jack, two USB 3.0 Gen A ports, and a Kensington lock port. On the other side, we see a DC 3.5 charging port, an HDMI port, one more USB A port, a couple of USB-C ports, and finally a switch for camera privacy. Moving on, up front, you are greeted by a large 14-inch Full HD IPS LCD display that refreshes at 60Hz and offers a peak brightness of 300 nits. And while the numbers might sound modest, I feel for the price, the viewing experience on this laptop is good. Since this is an IPS panel, the viewing angles are good, the color reproduction is decent. Now, of course, I won't call the display as good as the one on Realme's laptop, but it is definitely much better than the one on the Redmi Book models. Additionally, the media consumption gets hugely complemented by the 4 speakers on the INBook X1. The audio quality is top notch and for sure miles ahead of the competition. Here's a quick audio sample as captured from my camera's microphones. So guys, there's also a 720p webcam situated in the top bezel of this laptop, and its quality, well, you can see it right in front of your screen right now. I am recording from the webcam of this laptop, and as I said, the quality, well, nothing to write home about. Coming to the hardware, my review unit here has the 1005 G1 Core i3 processor. Under the hood, you get 8GB LPDDR4X RAM in the i3 and i5 variants, while the i7 variant gets 16GB of RAM. For storage, my unit comes with 256GB PCIe NVMe 3.0 SSD, while the i5 and i7 variants get 512GB storage. Now in terms of the SSD performance, my i3 variant usually recorded consistent scores of around 2400 megabits per second and 1250 megabits per second in a read and write respectively, which is quite good for a machine at this price. But numbers aside, in terms of real world performance, the only con that I could encounter was the slight latency issues that I had with the trackpad. But apart from that, for my usual everyday tasks such as running Chrome, Microsoft's suite of apps, some photo editing, and watching a lot of YouTube and Netflix, the INBook X1 was easily able to take the load. Multitasking was never a problem. Of course, this machine is not meant for heavy duty stuff, and by that I mean doing things like gaming or video editing. I didn't even try doing that. Well, I did try playing CSGO to see if the hardware can handle it, but yeah, what was I expecting? So this machine is definitely not for a gamer or a creator, but anyone who's looking for a decent entry-level laptop, say for using it in a college or in your workplace, or for entertainment purposes for watching videos, or say for typing documents and all that stuff. I believe in that case the INBook X1 will not disappoint you. Onto the keyboard and trackpad, you get scissor mechanism keys on the INBook X1, which also happens to be backlit. The keys are well spaced and offer a pleasant typing experience with good travel. However, the trackpad on this thing is just about okay. I mean, it is clicky and responsive, but at times I was bogged down by the latency issues, something that I just mentioned a while ago as well. As for the endurance, there's a 55 watt hour battery under the hood, and Infinix also gives you a 65 watt Type-C fast charger in the box, which tops up the battery from say about 0 to 80% in an hour, which is sweet. In terms of battery life, I was easily able to last a complete workday on this machine. If you ask numbers, well, with the brightness set at around 70% most of the time during my usage, this machine easily gave me about 8 to 9 hours of screen time consistently on a single charge. Long story short, the Infinix INBook X1 ticks most of the right boxes. It has a decent IPS display, the speakers are excellent, the battery life is good, general performance across the board is again fine, and most importantly, the price of this laptop is bang on. The only con that I can think of, and something that I mentioned before as well, is the slight latency issues that come with the trackpad, but you can always use a third-party mice for that and your work will be sorted. Apart from this, if you have any doubts or queries regarding this machine, then definitely feel free to reach out to me in the comments below. So that was my review of the Infinix INBook X1 laptop. As always, for all the latest in tech, stay tuned to Mr. Phone. I'll catch you all in the very next one. Thank you for watching.